In a study of 10,000 real brokerage accounts, investors sold their winning trades 50% more often than their losing ones. Read that again. The average trader protects their profits and babysits their losses. A stop-loss order takes 10 seconds to place, and it's the only order specifically designed to fix that. So why do most traders either skip it or use it so badly it makes things worse? Welcome back to the channel. This video is part of our risk management and capital preservation series, and today we're covering the tool that sits at the very center of it, the stop-loss. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Most traders have heard of stop losses. Many even use them. But very few use them in a way that actually protects their account, because a stop loss on its own does nothing. A stop loss placed at a random level, on a position that's too big, that you move the moment it's about to trigger, that's not protection. That's decoration. By the end of this video, you'll know three things. First, what a stop loss actually is, the three main types, fixed, volatility-based, and trailing, and the one rule that connects your stop to your position size. If you watched our episode on the 1% rule, this is where that idea gets its hands dirty. Second, we'll follow our old friend Marcus through the exact same trade twice, once with a properly built stop, once without, and you'll see, in real dollar amounts, why one version costs him $100 and the other costs him 12 times that. And third, we'll walk through the 5 most common stop-loss mistakes, including one that even experienced traders make, and one situation where your stop-loss can flat-out fail you, because knowing its limits is part of using it well. Let's get into it. Let's start with the plain English definition. A stop-loss is a standing instruction you give your broker. If the price falls to this level, get me out. You set it when you enter the trade, while you're calm, objective, and thinking clearly. Then it sits there, waiting. If the price never falls that far, it never activates. If the price does hit it, your stop triggers and your position is sold automatically. Notice what that really is. It's not a prediction. It's a pre-commitment. You are making the exit decision before you're in the trade, before you're emotionally attached, before you've watched the position bleed, before your brain starts whispering it'll come back. And that matters because of what we saw in the hook. In the late 90s, a researcher named Terence O'Dean analyzed the trading records of 10,000 accounts at a large discount brokerage. He found that investors realized their gains at roughly a 50% higher rate than their losses. They sold winners readily and clung to losers. Behavioral finance calls this the disposition effect. And here's the kicker, it wasn't even good for them. On average, the winners they sold went on to outperform the losers they kept by about 3.4 percentage points over the following year. They were cutting the flowers and watering the weeds. A stop loss is the antidote, because it takes the should I sell decision away from the future, emotional version of you, and hands it to the present, rational version of you. Now, there are 3 main flavors, and you should know all of them. Type 1, the fixed stop. You pick a price, often just below a level, where the stock has previously found support, and that's your line. Simple, clear, and it never changes on a losing trade. Some traders express this as a percentage instead, like, oh, I'll exit if I'm down 5% on the position. Same idea, a fixed line in the sand. Type 2, the volatility-based stop. This one asks a smarter question. How much does this stock normally move in a day? A stock that swings $1.50 on an ordinary, boring day needs more breathing room than a stock that moves 30 cents. Traders measure this normal daily movement with something called the average true range, the ATR, and place their stop a multiple of that below their entry, commonly 2 times. The logic, your stop should only trigger on abnormal movement, a real breakdown, not on everyday noise. Type 3, the trailing stop. This one moves, but only in one direction. As the price rises, the stop rises behind it, locking in more and more of the gain. If the price falls, the stop stays put. It ratchets. This is the stop that lets you hold a winner without giving all of it back. Okay, Three types. But here's the rule that ties everything together. The one that separates traders whose stops actually protect them from traders whose stops are just decoration. Your stop placement determines your position size. Not the other way around. Most beginners do this backwards. They decide how much stock to buy, usually based on excitement, and then stick a stop loss somewhere underneath it. Wrong order. The professional sequence is: first, decide how many dollars you're willing to lose if this trade fails. If you follow the 1% rule from earlier in this series, that's 1% of your account. Second, find the price level where your trade idea is objectively wrong. That's your stop. Third, divide. Dollars at risk divided by the distance between your entry and your stop equals the number of shares you're allowed to buy. That's it. That's the whole formula. Why does this matter so much? Because of math we've covered before on this channel. Losses are not symmetrical. Lose 10% of your account, and you need about 11% to get back to even. Lose 33%, you need roughly 50. Lose half, you need 100%, a double, just to return to where you started. A stop loss, sized correctly, is how you make sure every individual loss stays in the shallow end of that curve, where recovery is trivial instead of heroic. Abstract enough. Let's make it painfully concrete. Meet Marcus. $10,000 account. He's been following this series, so he risks 1% per trade, $100 maximum if a trade goes wrong. Marcus finds a stock trading at $50 a share. It's been bouncing off 48.5 for weeks. Buyers keep stepping in there. His trade idea is simple. As long as that support holds, he wants to own it, which means if the price breaks below that level, his idea is wrong. So he places his stop at $48, just under support. Now the formula does the work. Entry 50. Stop 48, that's $2 of risk per share. $100 of allowed risk divided by $2 per share. 50 shares. That's a $2,500 position. A quarter of his account, and that number wasn't a guess. It was an output. The trade fails. Support breaks, the stop triggers at 48, Marcus is out. 50 shares times a $2 loss. $100. Exactly 1% of his account. He's annoyed. He is not hurt. His account reads $9,900, and he needs a gain of almost exactly 1% to be whole again. He'll see setups tomorrow. Now rewind the tape and run the other version. Same stock, same $50 entry. But this Marcus doesn't build the trade around risk. He just thinks 5,000 feels right, buys 100 shares, and skips the stop because, say it with me, I'll just watch it. The stock breaks 48, he watches. It hits 46. It's oversold, it'll bounce. 44. Now selling feels like admitting the last $4 of pain were for nothing. 41. He stops opening the app. When he finally capitulates at 38, he's lost $12 a share on 100 shares. $1,200. 12% of his account on a single trade, and from 8,800, he now needs a 13.6% gain just to get back to zero. Same stock. Same entry. Same wrong idea. One version cost $100. The other cost 12 times as much, and the only difference was a decision made before the trade instead of during it. And it compounds. 3 no-stop trades like that in a row and Marcus is down almost 32%, needing a 47% gain to recover. Meanwhile, disciplined Marcus could take 5 consecutive 1% losses, 5 straight failures, and be down less than 5%. One of these traders can be wrong for a week and shrug. The other is one bad month from quitting. Quick upgrade to the same trade because I promised you the volatility-based version. Suppose Marcus checks and finds the stock's average true range is $1.50. That's its normal daily wiggle. A 2 times ATR stop puts his exit $3 below entry at 47, safely outside everyday noise. But notice wider stop, same rule. $100 divided by $3 of risk per share is 33 shares, a roughly 1650 position. The stop got wider, so the position got smaller, and his worst case is still $99. That's the system working. The stop distance breathes with the stock's personality. The dollar risk never changes. One last replay, the version where Marcus is right. Entry at 50 shares, and this time the stock climbs to 58. His trailing stop follows 2 times ATR behind $3, so when the stock rolls over, he's taken out at 55. Not the top. Nobody sells the top, but that's a $5 gain on 50 shares. $250, 2.5 times what he was risking. Cap your losses at 1 unit, let winners run to 2 or more, and the win rate you need to be profitable drops dramatically. At those numbers, winning just 4 trades out of 10 still leaves you up $200. So if stops are this powerful, why did we open this video saying most traders use them badly? 5 mistakes. Count how many you've made. I've made all 5. Mistake 1. Placing the stop by feel instead of by logic. 50 is a nice round number. I'll put the stop at 49. But the market doesn't care about your round number. A valid stop sits where your trade idea is invalidated, below real support, outside normal volatility. If a stock moves $1.50 on an average day and your stop is 50 cents away, you haven't placed a stop, you've scheduled a loss. Ordinary noise, not a real breakdown, just a boring Tuesday, will take you out over and over. Mistake 2. Choosing position size first and bolting the stop on after. This is the backwards workflow from Section 1, and it's how traders end up with stops placed wherever the loss feels tolerable, rather than where the idea is wrong. Remember the order of operations. Risk budget first, stop level second, position size last as an output, never an input. Mistake 3, the big one, moving the stop. The price drifts down toward your level and a little voice says, just lower it a bit, give it room. This one's different. Understand what you're actually doing in that moment. You are firing the calm, rational person who planned the trade and handing the account to the exact emotional impulse the stop existed to protect you from. Moved stops don't limit losses. They negotiate with them. The rule is one-directional. Stops can tighten. Stops can trail. Stops never, ever move away from the price on a losing trade. Mistake 4, the mental stop. I'll just watch it and sell if it gets there. You saw how that went for Marcus. The entire research literature on the disposition effect is essentially a 10,000 account record of mental stops failing. If the plan only exists in your head, then in the moment of pain the plan is negotiable, and you already know which way you'll negotiate. Put the actual order in the market. Mistake 5. Believing the stop is a guarantee. It isn't, and you deserve honesty here. A standard stop loss, once triggered, becomes a market order. It sells at the best available price, which is usually right around your level. But if bad news lands overnight and the stock opens the next morning at 44, when your stop was at 48, you're filled near 44. In Marcus's trade, that's a $300 loss instead of 100, 3% instead of 1. Still survivable. That's position sizing saving him again, but not what he planned. This is why traders lighten up or step aside ahead of known binary events like earnings dates, and why some use stop limit orders, which won't fill below a price you specify, though be warned. That protection cuts both ways. A stop limit can leave you stuck in a falling stock a plain stop would have exited. And one final dose of honesty, because this channel deals in evidence, not folklore. Academic research, notably a study by Kaminsky and Lowe published in the Journal of Financial Markets, found that stop-loss rules don't add value in every market. When prices move randomly, simple stop rules actually reduce expected returns slightly. Where they earned their keep was in trending, momentum-driven markets, where certain rules added meaningful value during stop-out periods. So no, a stop-loss is not a money-printing machine. It was never supposed to be. Its job is the one in this video's title, making sure no single trade and no single bad month can take you out of the game. Regulators keep publishing reminders of what happens without that protection. A recent 3-year study by India's market regulator found 93% of individual traders in equity derivatives lost money. The traders who survive aren't the ones who are right most often. They're the ones whose wrongs are small. If this video changed how you think about even one of your open positions, do 2 quick things. Hit the like button. It genuinely tells the algorithm that beginner-friendly risk management content deserves reach. And share this one with the friend who always says, "I'll just watch it." You know exactly who I mean. If you're new here, we publish practical, math-first investing and trading education every week. No hype, no hot picks, so subscribe and ring the bell so the next episode finds you. If you remember one thing from today, make it this. A stop loss is not a prediction, it's a pre-commitment, and it only protects you when it's welded to your position size. Decide the dollars you can lose, find the price where you're wrong, and let those 2 numbers choose your share count. Do that on every trade, and being wrong stops being dangerous. It just becomes tuition, 1% at a time. But here's the question that haunts even disciplined traders. What happens when you do everything right and lose anyway? 5 times in a row, 8 times, 12. Every strategy on earth has losing streaks. The math guarantees it, and how you behave inside one determines whether you make it out. In the next video, we'll look at how long a streak you should mathematically expect, why professionals plan for it before it arrives, and the specific rules they use to keep a cold streak from becoming a blown account. Quick reminder that everything on this channel is for education only. It's not financial advice, and you should do your own research or speak with a licensed advisor before making investment decisions. Remember, protect the downside, the upside takes care of itself. And that's a wrap on today's topic. If you found this helpful, be sure to hit like and subscribe so you never miss a lesson. Have a question about what we've covered today? Drop it in the comments below. I'll be answering the best ones. If you want to dive even deeper, click on this next video somewhere on the screen, where we explore next topic. Thanks for learning with me today, and I'll see you in the next one.